It's Wednesday, May 5th, 2014. I'm Rim.
I'm Scott.
And this is Geek Nights. Tonight, talking about Adventure Time in Continuance with a guest.
Let's do this. So it was really warm today.
Was warm today.
I was thinking about biking to work.
I bike to work every day all week.
You don't have to go home after this show, do you? If I had biked to work, I would have to bike now. And
Yeah?
I'm leaving right from your place.
So
and you
it's
know
nice
what?
out.
It's gonna rain.
Yeah, Scott, I note this now. For all the years you've been living here, if you look at the forecast and it's like 1% chance of rain, you're like, not biking.
I now have more accurate weather reporting thanks to pimping Yahoo Weather. The Yahoo Weather app tells you the hour. It shows
Scott, so does the built-in Android app.
Fine. It tells
Look,
you when the rain will begin.
Look at this timeline.
All right, when is the rain going to begin?
Scott?
It said the rain will start at 8, and right now it's 7:20.
Yes, you know what? At 8, there is only a 20% chance of rain in Long Island City and Astoria.
That's not what mine said.
That's what mine says.
Mine said like 90% tonight.
Also, you're a little baby. It's some rain. Just suck it the fuck up.
I'm not going to ruin my clothing by biking in the rain. But anyway, this Sunday is going to be amazing.
Yeah.
This Sunday I'm going to bike all day.
So I was biking home, and I was a little late to do the show, partly because with my Google Glass on biking, which, by the way, the Strava app on Glass is pretty great.
Yeah, I got to install it and set it up.
Yeah, it doesn't, it just uses the phone for GPS. It's all in the Glass 100%. Basically, you just tap and say start biking, and it just immediately starts counting down, and it shows you your speed while you're biking and your time and all this stuff. It's great. And you can still do other Glass stuff while it's running. So I'm biking, and I witnessed a car accident.
Oh,
So I immediately turned on the video and took a bunch of pictures.
What kind of car accident?
So a Time Warner van just fucking smashed into this parked car and ripped the bummer like
so the car was
peeled it open.
parked and a Time Warner van just drove right
Just
into it?
turned into it, just like crunch, crackle, huge noise.
So it turned around a corner and just went right into it?
No, it just tried to park and just fucking derped, I guess.
Oh, so it was trying to park and he stepped on the gas too much?
Yep, and he turned in too quick at speed, and they get out of the car, and they're kind of looking around, and I decided, because I was videoing, I just go right over there, and I look at his license plate, so I have a good picture of it, and I look at his face.
Detective Rim is on the case.
Well, because I do not like the fact that a lot of people do egregious shit in New York City, or in just cities in general.
Get away with it.
And get away with it. I did not want them to get away with it. So on the off chance that they were going to flee the scene, I wanted to make sure I had video of that. And then I waited like 15 minutes. The owner came down, like, what the fuck, my car? And then I exchanged contact info, and I sent him all the pictures and video that I had and gave him a little deposition. So he's good to go.
All right.
So that's what I did. That was fun. I was kind of, maybe it's wrong. I was hoping a little bit to see some sort of confrontation just so I'd have a better video.
So you could upload something to YouTube and get views?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Get some Reddit karma, yeah.
But at the same time, I wonder if the fact that I was standing there and everyone, people were talking to me about, oh my God, is that Google Glass? Like, what's up? That the fact that I was standing there and I was videoing everything, I think if a conversation would have happened otherwise, it wouldn't, because everyone was afraid of the camera.
Anyway, so the news action. There's not a whole lot of news going on right now. I'm sure there will be in a couple months, the San Diego Comic-Con, whatever. But
Yep.
At least comic animation news. But check this out. Drops of God, awesome manga that we love that got stopped publishing in English because I guess the Japanese company wasn't happy with how much it sold in the U.S.
Yeah, Japanese company, seriously, find an American
And then you
wine
made
reseller.
Vertical skip a bunch of volumes, which no one cared. That's the reason we. And then what? Yeah,
You needed to cross-market that shit in, to kind of take Kazuo Koike's golf manga and put it in Golf Digest. Take this thing,
Anyway,
release it in floppies in wine
so I'm gonna have to
stores.
find some scanlation somewhere to finish reading this thing because I got to know what the drops of God
So
are.
Scott, when I was in France, I went to several wine tastings and I tasted a wide variety of Grand Cru.
Okay, did they taste like God dropped
Oh
them?
my God,
If they were in a different bottle, would you? And I just said, "Here's some wine."
I would. So the taste, because this was a proper tasting, so I wasn't drunk or anything. And we had and unlike other tastings I've been to, later I was drunk. But I did take tasting notes, and I used that Vivino app that I use to take pictures of some of the bottles and everything. But what was interesting is in America, when I go to expensive or fancy wine tastings, they tend to tell you all the stuff about the wine and then have you drink it. Mm-hmm. In France, they make you drink the wine without telling you shit.
Do they mix in shitty wines?
Then not all the wines were good. Then they ask you what you think of it. Mm-hmm. They ask you what you taste. Then they explain what the deal is with the wine.
Oh, how about that? And you didn't get to see the bottle until after.
So the sommelier is not coloring my perception of the wine.
Oh.
And the best wine...
Well, other than the fact that a sommelier gave it to you is coloring it.
Yeah, but some of the wines were kind of cheap and not that good.
Well, but it's like, but the wines that you said that you liked happen to be the expensive ones?
The wines I liked the most were, every Grand Cru, my notes were, this is the best wine. Like, this one stands out. So.
What made them stand out?
They were, like, the flavor, like, most wine, I guess.
This isn't really winning you any Drops of God contest.
No,
yet,
but I'm saying, I'm not great at differentiating
I don't feel
wine.
like I'm at a Queen concert right now.
So, in fact, there are studies that show that people who don't, like, pay attention and study wine, a lot of times they can't tell the difference between red and white wine if you blindfold them. But when I drink wine, like I like this wine, don't like that wine, like these kinds of wines. Like I like Chiantis and Clarets more than I like Merlots and that kind of thing. But the differences, like the Grand Crus, the flavors I tasted are flavors I just don't taste in the wine that I have at home. Like there were flavors and notes that just aren't there that actually stood out. It's kind of like you drink a Dr. Pepper.
What flavor is that? Is it a good flavor?
So one of them had this like really sort of like almost cherry flavor in there, but usually when I get that kind of cherry flavor in a wine that I would buy,
someone dumped sugar in it.
It's also really oaky. Like it'll be oaky
because it was in an oak barrel.
Yeah. So this stuff, like the cherry was there.
Without cherry oak. I get it.
The cherry was there without the oak, and I've never tasted that before.
And so I remember an oak barrel.
And in my tasting note, I was like tastes like cherry ? Really tastes like cherry . And then the sommelier was like, you may have noticed notes of cherry. That is what makes this wine distinct. And I was like, I fucking got this now, bitches.
It's a test. You're trying to beat everyone else there. You can't help but turn it into a contest.
No, you know what it was? I like wine a lot. And it's really vindicating to say, like, to think I taste something, and then the expert is like, yes, that is what you tasted.
Anyway. So yeah, the manga in Japan is coming to an end. So as soon as that happens, I guess that's in June.
Just get a scanslation pack of the whole thing.
That's fucking A right.
Yeah. Gonna find out what the drops of God are. Don't read Wikipedia. It spoils shit.
100% gonna check out all them drops and not actually drink any of them.
If someone were smart, I would take that manga, take all the kinds of wines and specific vineyards and everything that are mentioned in it and set up crazy cross promotions.
I would go and find one bottle of each of the apostles and the drops of God and sell it in a package.
For like 10 or 15 grand.
Right. One bottle of each. Drops of God.
Well, except for the ones that you like can't get.
I would get them.
You can't get them all.
It would be part of the package.
In fact, so what I learned in Paris is that a lot of the
I'm still pretty sure the actual drops of God are going to be something like water or the wine you make yourself at home with your own feet.
So a lot of the best wine I had in Paris, other than like the Grand Cru crazy stuff, was just fucking grocery store wine that cost like €1.
Nice.
A lot of the best wines, they're really great, and they don't export it because it's like the cheap wine people drink every day with dinner. So that wine can't be like hundreds of dollars. So it's cheap, made locally. It's not worth exporting, and the demand internally is constant and high. So all the cheapo grocery store wine is just really, really good. Like here, cheapo grocery store wine tastes like shit.
Yeah, it's like, why does there's no law of the universe that says the best grapes have to be the most rare grapes, right? It's like, what if I have the rare grape plant and the rare land, the best grape plant, the best land, but I have a fuck ton of it. It's like, oh, they're just the best wine on earth happens to be a fuck ton of it.
Yeah, like a lot of the Grand Crus are like, this particular part of one vineyard just tastes different for reasons. So only that counts. So they can only make so many barrels of that.
Right, but what if there's like 1 million acres that taste like that?
Yeah, well, you know what? That's the kind of wine that everyone in France drinks with dinner every day that never gets exported outside of France.
Yeah.
Apparently people in Britain will like drive to France, fill their car with wine, and drive back to Britain.
Isn't there people like in the channel checking you?
Yeah, don't get caught was what I was told.
Oh, okay.
So in other brief news, if you live in New York, Atlanta, Cambridge, Baltimore, Alexandria, Columbus, a bunch of other cities, Ghost in the Shell Arise
It's not even a movie. It's like OAV movie things.
Yeah, kind of like Standalone Complex was.
Yeah.
That was like pay-per-view originally.
Well, Standalone Complex Solid State Society was OAV.
Yeah. So the first two are just being screened in movie theaters, and you can buy tickets.
But I kind of wanted to wait till they were all done before I watched them.
I did, but at the same time, I really want to see more Ghost in the Shell
in a movie theater
because I like I like Silver Spoon, I like Yo Up Pedal.
Did you watch Silver Spoon?
I didn't finish the first season.
Oh, okay.
'Cause I got
finished the whole
sidetracked.
thing. Yeah.
But shows that give me that fuck yeah feels. Kill La Kill did that. Ghost in the Shell did that.
But who knows if Arise will do that?
I have a feeling
You're
it will.
willing to pay to find out?
I'm willing to pay to find out.
Similarly, other situations, right? Gundam Unicorn UC is almost done. The last episode.
Oh, shit.
Which means then that's another one I watched none of that I'm going to watch all of as soon as it's complete.
Maybe we should watch it together and just do straight up episodes on
We
it.
could do that. And then I guess those Evangelion movies at some point.
Oh,
will
yeah.
be all done.
I'm waiting until they're all done.
Yeah, I'm waiting for 10.1010. You will not watch this again. We cannot remake.
8:10, 9:10,
End of Anno.
10:10.
End of Anno. It's just a video of his funeral. He died of smoking too much.
Maybe what we should do is when they're finally done, let's just marathon the whole goddamn thing.
That's right.
So things of the day. There's a movie. We're talking about anime. It's Anime Day. The first anime I ever saw,
Vampire Hunter D.
when I was in 4th grade.
How many times are you going to talk about Vampire Hunter
And my
D?
little brother was 2 years. So my brother was
You're
like
talking about
6.
Vampire Hunter D so much lately. Maybe we should watch it and do a show on it.
I kind of want to. So that's what my thing of the day is. When my little brother was 6 and I was 8, my parents made us watch Vampire Hunter D, the dub. That dub, the dub that I watched, the first anime I ever saw in its entirety, is just on YouTube.
Yeah.
So if you want to see what a very young Rim and his young brother watched and decided anime was our fucking thing, it was this. When I was 8, this was the greatest thing I had ever seen in my entire life. I dressed up as D for Halloween.
Okay.
Nobody fucking knew what that was.
Nope.
Except my mom and my dad, my brother.
Let's get a picture of that, put it on the internet.
I should try to find a picture of that.
Anyway. So my thing of the day, I don't know how many of you are familiar with Yon Beastie Boys, right?
You better be.
Yeah. You may also know that MCA, right? Adam passed away, 2 years ago? Something like that?
Yeah.
On May the 4th, which is, I guess, inconvenient. I would not want to die on a day associated with the silly Star Wars holiday.
I'd much rather die on Yell at the Sky Day, International Day of Slayer.
Yeah, something like that. But anyway, around that time every year, they have an event known as MCA Day to celebrate him, right? And I hope one day that I am celebrated so that the anniversary of my death is a day.
Day.
Sure. But anyway, he was known in his life, not just for the music he created, but he was a huge, his thing was free Tibet, right? That was his thing. The way that free the internet is our thing, right? He was actually, a Tibetan Buddhist himself, and, he was friends with all these Tibetan Buddhist people. That was his jam. So, on MCA Day, some Tibetan Buddhist monks honored him with some awesome breakdancing.
They honored him in the way that he should be honored.
That is right. So, that's just fucking awesome. And it's awesome shit that happens in New York, so watch this goddamn video. Oh, man.
In the meta moment, forums, we got them. They're rocking. They're awesome. If you don't use good spelling and grammar, we'll fucking ban you. That's how awesome they are.
Yeah, we have IRC channel. People are getting in it. We even have a newsletter. I sent it out.
Yeah.
We have, what else do we have? We have
lots of videos of all
Twitter.
our panels and lectures just on YouTube.
Twitter, Facebook, and Google+, and maybe even Twitch, and all the places on the internet. We are there.
If you like our shit, spread our shit around.
Share our shit with other people.
The more you spread it around and the more people like it, the more we'll do.
If
you young kids don't realize, we've been doing Geek Nights for almost 10 years. For many years, we did 4 fucking episodes a week.
If you
know what?
spread our shit, maybe one day we'll just get lucky and hit that pot of gold, and we can just do this all the time.
Yeah. You want us to make 12 episodes a week? Sure. You want us to make video games? Yeah.
Yeah, we can do all kinds of stuff if maybe someone with a lot of money likes us someday. The book club selection is Canticle for Leibowitz, you should buy that and read it because I've seen it mentioned in like so many places. I have to check it out.
Yep. Also, you should look at the rest of the Geek Nights book club. We've done a bunch of books. They're not all awesome, but they're all worth reading for one reason or another, except the King Killer Chronicle. Don't read that one. I cannot express to you how rustled my fucking jimmies are about that book.
You just can't get over it.
It did rustle me, and it continues to rustle me.
You should make your next selection something so bad
that it'll wash it out?
Exactly.
All right, Scott,
Twilight?
next, Atlas Shrugged.
Go for it.
Have you read Atlas Shrugged?
No, Fountainhead?
Yeah. I think Atlas Shrugged is worse.
Anyway.
Maybe. I don't know.
Ulysses.
I'll read Ulysses.
No.
No, you won't?
I don't have time for that.
You gonna break the book club
Ain't
tradition?
no one got time for that.
Ethan Frome.
I already read that.
I've actually never read it.
Guy rides a sled down a hill, dies. The end.
He doesn't die.
Spoilers.
He doesn't die. That's the point.
I read it in like, I don't know, 6th grade. What the fuck do I remember?
He-
I can't even remember Adventure Time.
He is
I
such
watched
a
last
fuck
year.
up that he wants to commit suicide on a sled and fucks that up.
Oh.
And it makes everything
And
worse.
you're the one
end.
who hasn't read the book?
Yeah. Yeah. I read excerpts from it for class in like high school.
Okay. Anyway.
Adventure Time. So we've been watching Adventure Time for a long time, as you guys know.
Yeah,
and
we already did an episode on it.
Yep, we
So
reviewed
why
it.
would we talk about it again?
Well, I guess we could turn into Anime Pulse and just review every episode of every show we watch as it comes out and not talk about anything else.
That's someone else's job.
Anime Pulse's job, apparently.
Sure.
But no, I think Adventure Time warrants a little more discussion since the show's done a lot since we first watched it. And while our reviews are pretty on point, what we didn't do is kind of talk about where it's going and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. Kind of like an ongoing review. I mean, it's hard to say, oh, we've reviewed, Space Dandy, because there's only one season. There might be more stuff. Imagine if Space Dandy had 50 seasons.
It's sort of impossible. How do you review something? It's like when something is a single item, it's easy to review. But when it goes on forever, how do you even do that?
Well, you do it by, I guess, story arc you could review. You could do it by...
So you got to break it into some sort of item.
Yep.
But anyway, since there's so much freaking Adventure Time, and I only watched every episode once, and my memory is awful, right? We called our friend Adventure Time expert, Judith, to come and help us talk about Adventure Time.
Hello.
Judith is pretty much the most expert at Adventure Time that we know.
Also Pokemon.
Yeah. In fact, I think I scheduled her to do an Adventure Time panel at Kineticon.
Oh, how about that?
It was either that or one of the 19 Ask a Homestuck panels that got submitted.
Nope.
So are you telling me the Kineticon, a tiny, relatively smaller convention in Hartford, Connecticut, where no one ever wants to go, has a better Adventure Time panel than every other convention ever?
It might have the best one that's ever happened.
That's crazy.
No
Maybe
pressure.
You should go to Kineticon.
Don't worry, we'll just video it and live stream it on the internet.
Oh, all right. All right.
So the only thing I'll warn you guys about is kind of going to spoil stuff because we're just going to talk about the show. So if you really care about spoilers in Adventure Time, I would suggest watching Adventure Time. The episodes are not long.
It's for the number of episodes. It doesn't take long to watch all of it.
Well, I remember when I thought, oh, I'll watch Adventure Time. Everyone's talking about it. I feel like I'm left out by not watching it. And then I saw there's like a bajillion episodes, and that was back when there were only like 3 seasons. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, so where should we begin with the recent events that are on everyone's mind?
So Finn finally lost his fucking arm.
Saw that coming so far away.
Everybody did, though.
Did everyone? The internet did not seem to see that coming.
It was only foreshadowed like hell.
Two smart people. It was Chekhov's arm. I mean, I remember when I noticed that it wasn't until the alternate reality world
Where you had the metal arm and
Yup.
the farm and shit.
and then was it Puhoi? Was that the episode where he met the cloud people and had sex with them and then made cloud babies?
Yeah, and he got a pillow arm.
Yep. And that was when I noticed that there was a trend of...
I forgot all about that.
You forgot about that?
Forgot about that.
I watched that episode a couple times because I'd keep seeing the title and be like, Puhoi? The fuck was that episode?
I'll have to go back and rewatch that one.
Do you remember why it's called Puhoi?
No.
That's just what cloud people... That's what pillow people say.
Oh,
Boy.
pillow people. Oh, now I remember even more than
Yeah.
just cloud people. Okay.
I kept saying cloud people because there are cloud people. We saw one.
Now, is it just me, right? It seemed, people always talk about how Adventure Time is one of those shows that's on multiple levels. Like the adult sees this and the kid sees that, right? But it feels like especially like that newest episode, The Tower, it's like, it's 100% adult.
Not just the newest episode. The latter half of this season has been pretty much since Finn blew it with Flame
What
Princess.
What does a kid get out of watching The Tower or the episode where with Prismo and whatnot?
Yeah, I kind of agree with you on that one, especially since the start of season 6. I was watching it and thinking, this is not for children.
Or could we say that maybe, I mean, as you've noticed, Finn is aging at about the rate that the show is coming out? So he's getting older.
But no one else is, because everyone else is magical?
Well, I mean, it's Ozworld. I mean, Ozma of Oz does not age.
Sure.
Just like Peebs, people don't age in that world. So Finn's getting older. Maybe the audience is just getting older at the same rate.
But everyone else has an excuse for not aging, right? It's like Jake is a magical dog guy, and Princess Bubblegum is made of gum, but Finn is a human, right?
With apparently ultra psychic powers.
He's not a hot dog princess or a lumpy space princess. Why is,
So thus he's aging.
Yeah, right. And no one else is aging because everyone else is like, a talking pig or some shit.
Oh, Jake's getting older. It's just harder to see because he's not going through puberty. He apparently already did.
Yeah, he's like 30.
He's gaining a lot of weight.
Jake's supposed to be way older than Finn, though, right? He's like a middle-aged dude.
That might just be of mine because of dog years.
Yeah, it is.
I pretty much always assume that. Somehow,
so Jonathan was actually kind of young. Is that what you're saying?
Well, Jonathan, I think he died in like his late 40s.
You mean Joshua?
Joshua, right?
Joshua.
Okay.
Right.
Way to go.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be
Told you my
that
memory's
guy.
awful. That's why we needed you here.
But so we don't need an excuse. That's why Finn's aging. So maybe just the target demographic of the show is aging with Finn. I mean, a 14-year-old could learn about revenge.
So the show is what, 5, 6 years old?
Something like that.
Something like that? Okay.
Don't ask me numbers.
I'll actually look it up because that is somewhat
The pilot was in
interesting.
2007. The first season was in 2010.
All right, so the actual show, because, the only people who saw that pilot were people like us, right, on the YouTube.
I remember we watched that on YouTube, and it was one of the first videos we saw on YouTube.
Yeah. But yeah, so it was like 4 or 5 years old. So I guess how old would like an 8-year-old would start watching it, and now they're 13?
Pretty sure it was 10 to 12-year-olds even at the beginning.
Maybe. But I guess that can make sense.
Finn was not 8 years old in season
right?
1.
Like a 4 or 5-year-old wasn't watching it, right? In 2010.
Yeah, the demographics seem to be 10-year-olds and 30-year-olds.
All right, so I guess that can make sense. The people who are now in their young teens who started watching it then, even though it's only been a handful of years.
But partly, I've kind of noticed. I don't know if you guys agree, but the show every season has had an arc where after the first season, where the beginning is just resolving the previous season stuff and it's super serious. Then it's a bunch of unrelated funny stuff, and then all the Chekhov guns build up, and then they all blow up at the end of the season, and suddenly it gets all adult again.
Pony does the same thing. They put their plot episodes at the beginning and the end.
Don't use that word with those people anymore.
For the season premiere and the season finales. And then all the middle episodes are just fillers.
Not the same way. The Chekhov's gun and ponies are like Chekhov party poppers.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying this is the same model of, because they have seasons of shows, right? They put all the big episodes as season premieres and finales because that's the big deal. Even
That's
South
what all
Park
shows
does
do.
it. Yeah, at least U.S. shows.
Yeah, but if we're talking about like a range of darkness, then I would say Adventure Time season 6 and 5 had extremely dark starts.
Yeah, definitely. Of course, then again, well, let's see. So season 2 ended with Heat Signature and the Flame Princess stuff.
That's that long ago? Whoa.
Mortal Recoil, Mortal Folly.
That was the
feels-
end of season 2.
That feels way more recent than...
The Mortal Recoil stuff was the end of season 2.
All right.
I believe Flame Princess's introduction was the end of season 3.
Oh, okay.
Let's
Yeah.
see.
I was going to say...
Yep, Incendium,
Yeah.
as opposed to Heat Signature.
Yeah, it feels like
I'm going
Flame
based solely on
Princess
titles.
came in way later, right?
But I think when the show first hit its real dark notes that were obvious was the whole alternate reality Finn wakes up as a human after making the wish. Like, that shit was kind of creepy.
That was the most blatantly dark, but there were some darker seeds before that for sure.
There were, but they could be written off by a child.
True.
Like a child could just kind of go, "Oh, whatever, not notice." Like you could kind of write those off as those elements that are in children's movies that are kind of just brushed aside before the end happens.
Yeah, you always had this safe, fantastical Adventure Time world to retreat to. It would always go back to the status quo. And even though it did, after the season 5 premiere, there was still kind of an uncomfortable feeling left over.
Yeah, because it kind of showed you this other world and what could have been, and it was just horrible. Like really, really horrible. And you start to realize that Jake's not the most responsible person.
Yeah, that was kind of obvious.
I just remember when he's watching the video of what's going on in Finn's alternate reality. He's kind of like, "Yeah, he's got this, whatevs."
I think Jake is just sort of like, he's really inconsistent and all over the place. Like, if you watch the episode just now, right,
Yeah.
The Tower, he was relatively stable and, in control, other than supporting Finn's crazy idea to build a tower.
Are you thinking of the episode where they're trapped in the Sand Kingdom?
Oh, he was that guy in that episode.
He's just that guy fuck up in that episode.
Right. It's like, sometimes he'll be like an adult, and other times he will totally be the most dangerous possible person to be around.
Yeah, sometimes he'll give terrible advice, but with the utmost of confidence, and young Finn will be like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, let's just do that.
Yeah, listen to your melon heart. Melon heart's telling me to kill my dad. Yeah, it's not your melon heart.
See? That's the responsible Jake.
Except I think that was his melon heart.
Probably, yeah.
But the moment the show, I don't want to say it got sexual, but I kind of do, because it was honestly that episode that led up to You Blew It, Man with Flame Princess, because there is no way to cast that episode as anything other than puberty.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, those dreams.
Yeah.
The one where he's wriggling around in his little
his pants are
sleeping
on
bag.
Yep.
fire.
Yeah.
And he loves it.
Yep, this feels great. And then he's trying to recreate that feeling, and then in doing so, he pushes away the only girl who ever probably loved him. You blew it, man. Granted, I think the Cosmic Owl was being kind of a dick there. Could have just told him.
Yeah, and then when Cosmic Owl is weird too. It's like
He seems so mysterious, but now that
he
you've
seems
met
so
him,
mysterious, and then he's just like hanging out in like the hot tub at Prismo's place. It's like, what?
his job seems to be to, there's drama going on here. I'm out of here. See ya.
I mean, Princess Luna is more responsible than Cosmic Owl,
All Luna does is just watch everyone's dreams
and then she helps him out.
and intervene in them.
She's doing the Cosmic Owl's job right. That's what the Cosmic Owl should be doing.
Wow, that's really creepy.
Yeah? But she is. I mean, she's straight up watching people's dreams, and then she doesn't even stop Sweetie Belle from doing her bullshit. She lets her do it, and
All
then
right,
she tells her.
All right, wrong show, guys. I know it's my fault, but seriously.
That always is.
But from that moment, I mean, if we look at the list of episodes in season 5 and 6, especially season 6, I mean, let's see. We've got, oh my God, there's a lot of episodes in season 5. So Finn the Human, Jake the Dog, that was kind of serious. Pahoy had those elements. Simon and Marcy, there's been a lot of those episodes lately, and they just go full on in now. They don't dance around. They don't leave anything ambiguous. They're like, let's explore this world some more. Oh, look at this exact flashback of what happened back then.
What else is there to hide now? We know what happened, kind of, mostly.
Yeah, true. But notice how in the old days they'd hinted these things. They'd give you vignettes. They'd give you little flashes and ideas. But then they sort of transitioned into this, let's just have a long-running flashback that tells all and kind of assume that all the other characters know.
They couldn't keep up those hints forever.
Right. Well, that's the thing that I'm seeing now is they're basically all the Chekhov's guns are firing, and they're all empty. Like there's nothing else to fire. What are they going to possibly add more to other than just rolling the things that they've already got forward?
I don't know. Flame Princess is still a powder keg.
Sure.
Yep. Well, yeah, and they haven't really resolved any of that. Even though, honestly, at Finn's state up until now, I think Cinnamon Bun's a better person for her to be with. A little more stable and adult.
I seriously don't think that's romantic, though,
No.
No.
if that's what you're implying.
No, but
how would
okay.
that possibly? That'd be. It's like.
Yeah, because that's any less plausible than a human boy and fire.
It's at least got some more merit than a flammable baked good.
Plus, I mean, the world is mostly candy people and monsters.
At least
So
this area of ooh.
most of the world is monsters then.
But I mean, there's other dimensions, right? It's like where the hell place where Marceline's dad lives.
There's infinite dimensions. They established that a long time ago.
Yep,
When
that's
did
true.
when is that established?
The first time Prisma was introduced,
Oh, he says there's infinity dimensions.
the little keeper guy introduces them to that in this really, really fast-spoken monologue.
Yep, with the whole Enchiridion thing.
You have to listen to it a lot.
Okay.
I take it you've watched
I've
that
listened
part
to it once.
over and over. I've watched those
Ever.
episodes a bunch of times.
I've watched it like
Once.
3 or 4 times.
Okay.
It's 11 minutes long.
I'll just trust you then,
Fine.
because I have no choice but not to do so.
But we had like the 2-part Lemon Hoper, which seemed to just be about internet libertarians.
I love that Lemon Hope.
I mean, that Apple Wedding, we learned just how creepy Tree Trunks really is.
For some reason, right?
I
the
sure
the whole
hope
lemon
so.
situation, like when it first appeared, it's just like, shut up, lemons. Never appear again in this show.
I love
And now
lemons.
it's just like, why isn't this a lemon episode?
I love Lemon Grab after his first appearance. He was hilarious.
No,
Yep.
I meant the first appearance of any lemons whatsoever.
Well, Scott, you were the same way with LSP. You were like, oh my God, I hate this character.
No,
Oh my-
LSP from the beginning was like, oh my God. Show me these lumps.
I remember I was using LSP as an example. We were at a con. It was like an Anime Boston. You weren't watching Adventure Time yet. And I was like, you saw an LSP and you were like, what's that thing? It's really cute. And I was like, you're going to watch Adventure Time someday and you're going to really hate what that thing is.
It's definitely not cute, but
Yep.
it's still the best thing.
But they've left Betty unresolved, Flame Princess unresolved. Rattleballs is out there. He could do something.
Sure. So it's like the Chekhov's guns are just characters that happen to exist. That's like saying that in The Simpsons, Moe is a Chekhov's gun because he hasn't been in the last 3
These
episodes.
are characters that exist, interacted with the main characters, and have still unresolved issues.
I thought Rattleballs was going to be the one to provide Finn with a new arm, since his arm kind of looks like the one that Finn has been depicted
Oh,
with.
look who's looking at the details there.
While that might
Whoa.
be true, every reality where Finn has lost his arm, he has gotten a different arm. I don't think he can get the same kind of arm in 2 places.
I'm not going to confirm or deny that. I have no idea.
That's just my theory. I feel like every version of Finn has a different arm.
Well, Rattleballs was thrown into the mix for a reason. Maybe they haven't come up with it yet, but definitely for a reason.
Well,
Yep.
let's talk about this arm, though, right? So we had the leaf sword, the grass sword, right?
Well, that episode alone, that episode had all appearances of being a throwaway episode and got serious real quick.
Yeah. With my favorite character, Choose Goose, who needs to show up more often.
I thought LSP was your favorite character.
Also Choose Goose.
LSP's better.
Anyway, so he gets the leaf arm, right? The sword. Then he's cool with it,
Yep.
right? Then it basically, when he needs to use it, it devours his whole arm and pops off. And then the magic goop, right? That I guess that goop was keeping people alive and stable and unaging.
Well, that goop is
for
a
long
perfect
periods of
heal-all. It
time.
heals anything 100%.
Yeah.
Right. So it healed his arm into this flower, and that
Well, it
was-
healed it back into the flower, so that means that his arm's essence was replaced by that cursed plant.
Sure. Now, if he gets more goop somehow, would the flower grow even more, or is that the max for that flower?
I think it's going to grow back into a flower.
It looked like the goop healed the sword and not the human arm.
That's right.
So the sword should grow back into a proper sword, I guess.
Is he going to maybe have a plant arm eventually if it keeps growing? Is he giving it enough water and sunlight? It's,
Well, where would he give water? Just sweat on it?
I guess. I don't know.
Dip it in water occasionally?
Drink the water. It's got roots probably in his upper arm.
It's magic. He probably doesn't need any of that.
Why doesn't he go ask some wizards about it or some shit?
You know, it's kind of a side. You know what that arm reminded me of a lot, and I thought about this. Donjon. That whole episode with the cursed arm reminded me of Donjon and the feather, just because that arm is kind of wicked powerful.
Well, now it's not. Or maybe it still is.
Nah.
Right?
But actually, so the mechanical arm he had in his previous life as
You
that
found a
awesome
picture?
thief girl is similar to the arm he had in the alternate reality where he becomes the Ice King and fights Jake the Lich.
Yeah, I thought all of his mechanical arms at least looked a little bit
But
similar.
they are distinctly different in that Finn the human arm has 2 bits and 2 bits, and a sort of like and the joint is different, but the grabber's the same.
It's a metal arm with a grabber. Go find a picture of Rattleballs and let's check his arms out.
Yeah, I'm looking at Rattleballs.
I think
but
Rattleballs had a hand. I'm not sure.
I'm
go check
looking
it
that
out.
up. But when Finn saw the flash forward future of him on the train, his arm
Oh,
is
the,
just
the Infinity Train?
Yep, his arm is just his fucking whip.
Oh.
Wasn't his arm all decked out?
It was all decked out, but it's a decked
His whole
out
body
whip.
was decked out.
It's like a weird arm with a hook, and then on the end of the hook is a whip.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other arm's got a semi-permanent looking gauntlet.
Oh, yeah.
But it's just a pillow. All right, I'm looking
Someone
up
should make a
Rattleballs.
list of like all the plot episodes of Adventure Time, so you can like breeze. If not because you should only watch the plot episodes, but because if you've already watched the whole show, but you need to refresh yourself because you only watched it once, like me, you can refresh quickly and not have to rewatch. The episodes that aren't.
Well, is it plot episodes or gun episodes?
Any episode will count if it is an episode that affects. Either is, a direct main plot episode, like the 2 that started this season or the end of the season, right? Or one that has some sort of effect, right? Because, like, the one where he gets the grass sword doesn't, it seems like a one-off, right? And that's the thing they do, is even their one-off episodic episodes it's like they have some sort of, like, they leave a mark on the universe in some way, right? By, like, creating a character or creating an item or changing a character or changing a place or a thing, right? Or the nature of a character's relationship. And then they bring that back and it stays that way in all future episodes until it's changed again.
You mean the show has continuity?
Yeah.
All right, Rattleballs just has a fucking hand.
But it's not, there are a lot of things that have continuity, right? Like Marvel Comics or whatever, but they don't necessarily modify the continuity all the time, right? It's like almost every Adventure Time episode does something.
Or at least it has an element that is probably intended to be used in the future if they want to.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas other things that have continuity will still have just episodic shit that doesn't affect the continuity in any way. Right? Like, okay, here's a bunch of filler that doesn't affect anything, right? Like One Piece movies.
Well, I think the difference is Adventure Time does it much more subtly and aptly than Ponies has lately, and that Ponies will zoom all the way in on the thing and be like, hey guys, look at this, look, right here, this is the plot. And Adventure Time is like, Finn just gets a cursed sword, and then it becomes his arm at the end.
And then it's actually still there the next episode. Oh my gosh.
But then some other things aren't still there.
What other show does that? None.
So in the preview for the next episode, he just has 2 human arms.
Okay.
Just pointing that out. I saw it. I saw pictures from it. I think it's just because that episode was directed and put together before.
Wait, is that the food chain episode?
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's probably why.
So are they going to deal with that in some way?
Who knows?
I don't know.
I'm curious.
How about this Masaki Yuasa episode? If you watch,
That's the episode we're talking about.
I didn't think that was the next one. I thought that one's still a ways out.
It's coming up soon.
All right. Anyway,
At any rate, he has 2 arms.
but that episode in the preview for it, you know who's there?
LSP.
Magic Man.
Ooh,
I-
Magic Man.
I like Magic Man a lot.
I don't like Magic Man. He's a jerk.
So, do you think the show is just going to keep getting more and more adult? Like, for real adult? Like, is it going to be dealing with, like, really... Will it deal with more serious issues than it already has in the next season?
I think it might have to dip back into the subtlety after a while because, they can push the boundaries being as popular as they are. They're a massively popular cartoon. But if they push it too far and stay too adult for too long, Cartoon Network is going to take issue because it's very, very important to them to keep that 8 to 12 little boy demographic watching the show. And if they start, losing interest because we're just dealing with grief and relationship issues and...
Or maybe they'll get interest. When I was 8 to 12, I would have wanted to watch this.
Yeah,
When I was 8 to 12, I'd already seen Vampire Hunter D.
Right.
Not everybody had the same 8 to 12 foot as you guys.
They should
Or
have.
still
They can get all the money from the smart kids, not the dumb kids.
It's like Donald Duck in Math Magic Land.
Right.
Money from the smart kids.
I think one easy thing they can do to move forward
Is resolve the fucking shit with Flame Princess and have Finn get over his grief.
Well, no, is they can start to combine different things, right? So it's like you don't see.
You mean like Finn's arm and Finn's dad?
No, there are parts of the plot that sort of go together, like Finn's arm and Finn's dad, but there are other things that don't really go together. Like, how about Flame Princess plus Lemon Hope? Right? It's like those things don't even touch each other whatsoever. But what if they did?
That's the Moses Lat goes with Lenny on a trip episode.
Exactly. Right?
You got to have 10 seasons before you start that shit, minimum.
I'm just saying, there's a whole lot of territory of that nature that
we
could
already
be
know what's
explored.
going to happen to Lemon Hope.
Yeah, we do.
Right.
We'll probably never see him again.
But there's a lot of time.
There's
in that
no
window.
need.
Yeah, he's resolved.
He's just off hippieing for the rest of his life.
Granted, the only real takeaway from Lemon Hope is 1, libertarianism is a failed philosophy. 2, there's no such thing as fate and destiny. 3, Peeves could have planned that better.
Oh, come on. Come on. You don't even know what happened.
Yeah. We have a good idea of what happened.
It looked like a war.
Actually, it reminded me a lot of the end of a book from a series. I shouldn't say what it is because it might spoil things. Where you get at the end of this book, it ends, and you get an epilogue that takes place like 50,000 years later, and it just kind of offhandedly reveals pretty much everything.
Man, that episode left me feeling drained.
Yeah.
That last scene.
That was just so
I loved
sad.
it, but geez.
Well, have you seen Brazil?
I have not.
That episode,
Yeah.
that whole Lemon Hope. Brazil's really good, but it's also really long and allegorical and at times boring.
I see where you're going with this.
But
Brazil is the Lemon Kingdom.
the Lemon Hope stuff was a straight up reference to Brazil
Okay.
with the wings and all that stuff. With Lemon Hope, it's 100%.
I do want to see that movie
You should watch that movie.
when I have several hours to put aside.
Just make sure you watch the correct version. If you watch the wrong version, you'll know because it has a happy ending.
Oh, which version is on Netflix?
I don't know. I really don't know. Just if you see a happy ending, you fucked up. That's all I can say.
All right.
It does not end happily.
One important thing to note, the storyboard for the episode Lemon Hope, at the very end when they're showing the ruined city, they put a note there that said it was not bombed, it's abandoned.
Oh.
Well, I mean, you could tell that watching it, right?
But it's interesting that they made that was intentional, that they wanted to make it clear this, like, these people left, this kingdom failed.
Well, clearly we're going to get an episode at some point,
Or
right,
moved on. Maybe
where-
they reintegrate with the candy people.
where the lemons leave the, abandon the lemon kingdom.
Will they? I kind of like that more if they don't tell you how that resolved itself.
The lemon stuff?
Yeah.
But that would mean we wouldn't see Lemon Grab again, and we have to.
We could keep seeing Lemon Grab because
What else is he going to do?
that could have resolved itself 500 years down the road.
He's going to come back and scream some more. That's all I need.
Yeah.
That's acceptable.
Is it now? What we need is the episode where like LSP goes on an exchange program to Castle Lemon Grab to try and make diplomatic relations.
That's another kind of combo, right? It's some lemon grab plus Marceline action.
Well, they
going
did have
on.
that episode where it was Lemon Grab, Tree Trunks, the little worm,
Shelby.
Shelby,
Shelby.
Ice King.
Shelby
I
reminds you
loved
of
that
Wormy on
episode.
Sesame Street.
That episode was
What does that noise mean?
The episode where the armor.
that's
is
season
so-
1. That armor, Choose Goose's armor.
Oh, I only saw that one once, actually.
That's one of
so
my
yeah.
favorite episodes. It's so.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Scott just really likes Choose Goose, like really likes Choose Goose.
Well.
But I expected the show because up until now, every time they've introduced some of these big plotty things, they ratchet down the tension within 5 or 6 episodes tops. But since the Flame Princess incident, like they've just left that hanging and they've referenced it. And every time they've referenced it or gone back toward it, they've just ratcheted it up more.
Yeah, and the only way they resolved it this time was to give Finn even greater grief than losing his girlfriend. So
Yeah.
he's
It's
forgotten
It's like
about it.
any episode you watch, even if it doesn't even mention it at all, it's like even they'll be like for like a second, Finn will be like or something, and you just can't not think about it. It's like
Yup.
it's like if someone hadn't seen those earlier episodes, they wouldn't think that. But it's just like just seeing the characters there, you think about all the things that they're carrying because you're carrying them because you saw that shit.
And they haven't unburdened us.
Even if they don't mention it or show it or anything.
like Billy's bucket list, like that episode. I mean, one, they introduced, what's her name? Billy's ex-girlfriend.
Canyon.
Who's kind of awesome
Yeah.
Yeah, she
in
is.
a big way. And just now we had, like, he was talking to that cloud girl, and they keep introducing him to female characters in the same manner that they originally introduced him to Flame Princess, in the sense that it's just sort of this character that's there.
That's how Marceline showed up.
Yeah,
It's just
but they're
like-
all just passing by, and every time you see Finn just continuing to not deal with his issues.
Most of the characters Finn has met, encountered, or helped since the beginning has been female.
That is true.
I don't know if the intention behind that has changed since the beginning and it's slowly evolving. I think that is the case because it was just like rescue stuff in the beginning.
And they used to make a lot of jokes about how all the princesses really want to marry Finn.
Well, we saw that in the tower. It's like, yeah, all these princesses bought you all these gloves,
Yup.
fake arms, Finn.
So they referenced that again, meaning maybe they're leading up to something again.
I
don't
think there
know.
was an episode on the list of upcoming episodes that was something princess.
Sad Face, Food Chain,
Princess Day.
Yep.
There you
Looking
go.
forward to that one.
That one's written. That's trying to look at who did it.
Maybe we'll learn something about all these similar crowns all the princesses wear or some shit.
Well, we learned about that with the Enchiridion stuff way back. What else more are they going to do?
I don't know.
So I think the loudest I laughed in all of Adventure Time was when LSP's crystal just bounced off the Enchiridion and wasn't involved. I laughed out loud so hard. Like, I think back to that moment as being something that I really enjoy.
One of the moments that squeaked me out the most from the show was when they were pulling it out of her head.
Right, but it's like, we know.
Well, no,
that-
squeak me out is anytime Tree Trunks is talking.
Right, we know that much about the Enchiridion, but it's like, where did the Enchiridion come from?
Who created it? Why did
who
Billy
wrote
have
that
it?
shit? Right? It's like we know this post-apocalyptic stuff. We know at least enough about, right? But like, how other than radiation did you get from the post-apocalypse to the magical world? Where did these specific magic things come from? Like, where'd the Lich come from?
Well, the Lich was, I mean, but either that bomb blowing up in that place released something that was always there, or that bomb itself was special in some way.
Yeah, it's stuff like that, right?
That bomb seemed to be the thing that released not only destruction, but also magic into the world.
Yep. But with magic comes the Lich.
Yes.
Sure.
Because a world where the Lich never existed is one where the bomb never went off.
But what about the rest of the universe, like the shit on Mars and whatnot, and other dimensions? And
that's something they have not addressed very well, is the rest of the cosmos. Because that was much more sinister and mysterious all the way up through when the Prismo stuff happened. And now it's getting increasingly humorous.
They've run out of room on ooze that are reaching into space more frequently.
Like the space stuff is being more and more prominent, which is interesting, but at the same time, it removes the sort of ominousness of the fact that there is an outside world. Like the fact that everything that we'd seen up to this point could have been undone by Prismo and One Wish is not as ominous now that there's basically Green Lantern space stuff happening and space is dead, Finn's dead in space, the Space Hitler is out doing his thing and like wherever he is.
You got to assume he's Space Hitler.
I am 100% sure he's Space Hitler.
But think about all those other Space Hitlers that were also released.
No, those are Space Goebbels.
Okay.
They're not Hitler. They're not. He's the leader of the Space Hitlers already. He became their leader in 8 seconds?
Maybe.
Maybe less.
I wonder if he was always their leader. I wonder if everyone on that place was arrested with him.
They're not going to revisit that again for a while. They're going to treat it the same way they did with the Lich stuff.
Which I think is fine. I'm more interested in resolving Finn's emotional baggage.
Yeah, I believe they're going to work on, I would put resolve in quotes because that's a lot of shit to get over. But they're going to work on building us back up to some fun episodes, not just like one interspersed with all these depressing ones like we've been getting.
Yep. Well, James, too, was the most back to old Adventure Time we've seen, I think. Because it had all those scenes where Finn and Jake are just like, yeah, we're going to sit this one out.
That was funny.
Yeah, and they're just in the background the whole time giggling and not getting involved.
And they got PB to chill for a little bit, too.
That's my favorite scene, when they're all up there laughing and you see the Banana Guard and the James both trying to work it out. Can't quite get there.
Yeah, and PB's sitting up there being like, yeah, I made those idiots. God damn it.
Those are definitely some of my favorite episodes, the ones where it's just Adventure Time. Like the one where it's just like, Finn goes in the dungeon, woo! And that's the whole episode, right?
Yeah, but even,
Or even the one where the armor is, it's about questing and adventuring and cutting
most
things.
of those episodes from season 4-ish onward have had moments of issues.
Or even like Infinity Train. Right?
But it's interesting because the more I watch the show, the more I want to see those issues and see that stuff be addressed. Yet, as you kind of pointed out, that's the opposite of what young kids want to see.
Maybe, who knows?
No, maybe they're trying to Harry Potter it and have it actually grow with its audience. But there will be a time when most of that audience will just stop watching Cartoon Network because they suck.
I think most of the people who watch Adventure Time pirate it. I mean, every Tuesday when I go to watch the episode, I'll just note that the Pirate Bay has a lot of people seeing Adventure Time.
There is sort of a thing happening. Like my coworker, he has a baby. Like the baby's maybe not even one or whatever. But he said, he watches Adventure Time with the baby, and he says the closing song puts the baby to sleep. The one with the bees, right?
Come along.
Yeah, exactly.
I like
so
that
it's
song.
like you're gonna see people with babies, like who want adults, 20, 30-year-olds who make babies watch Adventure Time with their kids.
Yeah, but they can, they can do a thing like newspaper
More
comics
so
did.
than the other shows. I mean, it's like, other shows appealed to adults as well, Powerpuff Girls, Ponies, whatever. But I think Adventure Time more so is one that people will actually watch together and spread to younger folk, right? And especially with, having it available on many, many formats. It's like, if you have my parents' cable, you can just watch every episode on demand up to like the newest one.
Yeah, Adventure Time is going for staying power. I mean, they pretty much already have that.
So people can definitely start at the beginning with ease, even if they're not piratey.
Well, that's what I was getting at. The beauty of Adventure Time is that because it had, the show really, really evolved season to season. Like season 1 is vastly different from seasons 3 and 4.
Well, so is any long-running show. Simpsons, Flintstones.
No, this
Sailor
is a
Moon
really
episode
stark
1
difference.
and Sailor Moon episode 199, not that different.
Not the best example, though.
Yeah, but I'm
I was
saying
talking
a
about
lot.
long-running American shows.
Okay, so long-running American shows like Ponies, pretty much the same so far.
Powerpuff
Well.
Girls, still status quo is God.
Yep. Nothing ever affects the Powerpuff Girls universe.
I didn't even know that shit was still going.
It's been remade.
Oh, okay.
But because the archives exist, it's the kind of show that like we'll watch, and then if we had babies, we could start again from season 1, and we know where it's going, so we can just kind of watch it as the kid grows up.
Well, I don't know, Judith, do you actually watch it on real TV?
No, I don't have real TV.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, but I heard from someone who had real TV that what happens is, because the episodes are only like, half an episode slot, right? That what they'll do is when you go to watch the new Adventure Time, if it's not a 2-parter, right, in the first half of the 30-minute slot, they'll show the old episode that's relevant to the new episode, right? So that you know what the hell's going on.
Typically, yeah. Anytime I've caught it on cable, that's what they've been doing.
Right, so it's like
Ponies does the same thing.
Right, so if you're starting out, and that's part of what it's weird how they cram so much into that in these short episodes.
Yeah, more happens in these short Adventure Time episodes than in like an hour of a lot of shows I like.
It's like they really use like there'll be scenes or shots that are like less than a second that say like 10 million things, right? That no other show can pull that off really right now at least. But they'll always, that first slot, they'll be like, oh, okay, so this episode's going to be about, Flame Princess again. We're going to show the last appearance of Flame Princess in the first slot.
Some people analyze which episodes are paired with the new ones to foreshadow things. Like when Betty premiered, it was paired with I Remember You, which is a pretty obvious connection. But they were laying it on thick.
But it's like they couldn't do that if the episode was full 20, 30 minutes long. You wouldn't have, there wouldn't be a time slot for it unless they made it an hour long. Thing,
Of course, at the same time, technology, if this was just internet distribution, you could just have every episode has the paired episodes that are relevant to this episode. Just kind of there. Watch it if you want to or
Someone
not.
should make a website that is every Adventure Time episode, not necessarily in order, right? But with arrows pointing to the ones that, come off of it, right?
Just make a web.
And then, a website where you can, like, search the episode. So it could be like, show me every episode with Choose Goose. Show me every episode with Lumpy Space Princess.
Yep.
Show me every episode with Hot Dog Princess.
I think there's only like 3 episodes with Choose Goose.
Yeah, he's not that common.
He's in at least 5 or 6 episodes.
It's probably a pain in the ass to write. It's probably why Zakora doesn't say that much either.
He's in the video games.
I like in the comic,
where else are you gonna get
Flame Princess tricks the fake Choose Goose by getting him to say the word purple, and then he just spazzes out.
I remember that.
Of course, the comic continuity, Flame Princess and Finn are just dating and everything's cool.
Yeah, all right. So does the comic even count?
There's several different comics. None of them count.
Yeah. The comics are all very different in timbre and tone, too.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, it depends on who's the writer is. They haven't had like just one set of people writing the whole thing from start to finish, right?
yeah.
Right.
Well, Adventure Time's not that way either. There is a wide cast of people who write and storyboard each episode.
That is sort of that's one thing that really interests me is you look at the list of Adventure Time episodes.
Look, episode 79, Hot to the Touch.
Yeah.
Cole Sanchez, Rebecca Sugar. The next episode, 5 short Grabbles, Tim Herpich, Skylar Page, and Cole Sanchez.
Right, but those episodes have nothing to do with each other. Look at the first 2 episodes of this season, which are pretty much tied together as one episode.
Yep.
Right? Different writers.
Yep.
How are these people must have some kind of communication going on where
They all work in the same studio.
They're
Yeah.
all on the same page all
Continuity
the time.
Bible. There's a continuity Bible.
Right, but like other people who, can't seem to pull it off when they have different writers like that.
And they all have a discussion before they finalize the storyboard. Like everybody meets and discusses
But
the script.
how come other shows don't have, all their writers, so tight with each other like
they
that?
suck more.
I guess that's true.
I might come out of the fact that how Adventure Time started and came to be, a group of friends who trusted each other bring other professional people who they trust in, and they give each other a lot of leeway. Which you don't see with other things. It's like South Park has that going to a degree that they only bring people in who they trust 100%.
I don't think the South Park even bring people in? Isn't it really just
Well, they
them?
brought people in until they had enough people. But there's nobody on their crew.
Like most of their people are animators, not really.
Yeah, but I'm saying the people in their crew are people they trust 100%. Like, this guy's going to get the
people who
content right.
work 24 hours a day for 6 weeks a year and then the rest of the year take off.
I kind of really want that production schedule in my life.
Just we'll make Geek Nights for like 6 months out of the year and the other 6 months do nothing.
Like Penny Arcade.
But
4
during those 6
Paxes,
months, you don't even sleep. You
the
just
4 Paxes should be on 4 weekends in a row, and then they don't do anything the rest of the year.
Sure. Micro Hulik just goes and draws all the year 300, all the comics for the whole year in a month, and the rest of the year doesn't do anything.
But Adventure Time, I think it still is my consistently most favorite cartoon that I'm watching or have watched in recent memory.
I don't know if it's
Like,
my favorite.
I really
but
like ponies.
But because it's so long and it just doesn't stop, right? It's like all other, regardless of how much I like Adventure Time relative to say something like Kill la Kill, it's like, well, Kill la Kill's over.
Yeah.
So even if I like that more, it's gone. And Adventure Time, at least for now, looks like it ain't going anywhere. So it just, by the fact that it'll just always be there, regardless of how much you like it, it will have a stronger emotional bond to you simply because time makes the heart grow fonder, I guess.
Sometimes. Adventure Time is my American cartoon favorite, hands down. It beats out ponies like
Well,
nobody's business.
yeah, definitely is beating
There
ponies,
was a
beating
time.
ponies now.
There
for
was a
sure.
time where, for me, ponies would have beaten Adventure Time, but that time is
Yeah,
that time is
in
long
the middle
gone.
of season 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Maybe through season 2 of
Not
Ponies.
really, no.
Yeah, season 2 of Ponies, because what was contemporary Adventure Time at that point that you were watching?
I didn't watch any Adventure Time. At that point.
Yeah. But also the time between seasons is pretty short with Adventure Time, I've noticed, compared to, say, Archer, which just stops for a long time before it starts up again.
Yeah,
Also, the Adventure Time season has so many episodes.
season 5, I think it played for like a year or a year and a half.
How do they even count like when the season? Aren't they supposed to start and stop seasons at the same time as every other show
Season
starts?
5 was a little weird because it was split into season 5.1 and 5.2,
Yep.
Mm.
and it's twice the length
Why
of any
didn't they
other
just call
season.
the first half 5.15 and 5.26?
Who knows? They have stupid reasons for this stuff. I was reading a long article about how Hasbro does its seasons and when they do a half season or a whole season of Ponies, and it depends on these marketing metrics. And it's just all this complicated crap.
I've been noticing the live action shows that I don't watch, but my coworkers are talking about how what they'll do is like, okay, this is the last season of Mad Men. Instead of just making it the last season, they'll just take it and cut it in half to make 2 seasons to make the show last another year or whatever, right? Even though they won't make any more episodes, they'll just take that last season and cut it in half just to drag the show out a little bit more. It's like, why? Does it really just to keep it in people's mind share for another 12 months or whatever? I don't know what these people are thinking.
So let's try to predict what's going to happen in the rest of the
Right,
season.
because our obvious prediction of Arms getting off, well, it happened.
Yep.
Right? So,
where's this going? Judith, where's Adventure Time going?
Finn's gotta find a replacement.
well, okay.
For placement what? Arm
for
or
his arm.
girlfriend?
I don't know about girlfriend. Flame Princess has got to be addressed again for sure. I don't know where that's going. At first, I thought that her kingdom was going to fall apart because her policy for just honesty seemed so naive and doomed that I thought that the kingdom was going to have like an internal war or something. But that didn't work.
I think it helps that all the subjects of the Flame Kingdom are actually really derpy. Like, they're not the brightest
Not even Flame
bunch.
King. Flame King's derpy too.
Yeah, Flame King is really bad at conspiracies.
Even his Boba Fett guy is just dumb as shit.
That guy was totally a Boba Fett, though.
I mean, what? I don't remember his name. I just
It was
Don
Boba
was-
Fett.
every time he was on screen, I'm like, that's the Flame King's Boba Fett.
It's really hard to predict Adventure Time, though. I typically don't try to unless I find something extremely obvious.
Yep. Like, I can predict the really broad strokes, but that's as far as I've gotten. All my specifics have pretty much been wrong unilaterally.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the only thing that like is strong in my memory of like a loose end is the episode where Marceline and the doll or whatever, and the witch took the shit away, right? It's like that witch is coming back
Sky
hardcore.
Witch. Yeah, that she said she was coming back. and
That's
then there's-
right.
Yep.
That's the
Been
thing that's
nothing.
been looming.
And in the Betty
that
episode,
is sort of like intentionally forgotten and
in the Betty episode, we saw specifically why objects like that are so powerful. Think about what that means. This is an object that has power over either Princess Bubblegum or her legacy for as long as that shirt has been existing and treasured. Mm-hmm. Which means theoretically the Sky Witch could mess with the origin of the Candy Kingdom in the same way that Ice King messed with his own backstory.
Except she doesn't, because the Candy Kingdom continues to grow and expand until it's eventually abandoned within the span of 1,000 years from the point that we're watching.
Well, abandoned, moved. Was it just the Lemon Kingdom?
maybe there were just some people who really liked fucking candy.
That
and ate
wasn't
it
the
all.
Lemon Kingdom. That was the Candy Kingdom.
Yeah.
You could see the castle in the middle.
Oh
of
yeah,
it.
you're right. You're right.
Maybe if you just really liked candy and ate it.
You know what? Maybe that's just that deer came back and kidnapped everyone again.
Yes, that's the kind of thing. That deer was basically just this joke.
That would be the lamest thing. That
Right?
deer died, by the way.
Oh, did it?
Yeah. Magic Man turned him into a telescope.
He's not dead then. He's just
Nope.
a telescope.
He's dead.
He's a
Confirmed.
telescope.
Word of God.
I do not believe in word of God when it comes to analyzing shows.
What is this word of God?
I don't know. Somebody asked if that was the same deer who got turned into a telescope, and is it now dead? I think they asked at one of the panels at a convention. and
Yeah,
they were like,
I could
I
wing
was
that.
talking about the deer in the tower episode that we just saw.
Oh, that deer? Maybe that was his father. Maybe that's why he's alone.
But that deer's just a telescope. So it's dead temporarily. We could turn it back into a deer.
Nobody's ever going to find that deer again.
Yeah.
Magic Man isn't anyway.
Magic Man.
Who's the other thing is who's the shitty magician guy? The shitty wizard.
What, Abracadaniel?
Yeah. There's something up with him too.
Yeah, he kind of got resolved.
Kind of,
He
but
was just like Ice King's bestie for a while, and then he ditched. That's about it.
Yup.
there's something. The fact that they even brought him back at all, right? Beyond his one episode.
I gotta say, since they've kind of just spilled Ice King's entire load, it's really hard to watch any scene with Ice King without just being really depressed about Alzheimer's.
I'm kind of glad that we haven't even seen Ice King since then, because I don't like Ice King. I never liked Ice King.
Well, Finn just fucked up his house apparently in the
Again.
episode we just watched.
That's happened like 10 million times.
I know.
He just makes a new one with
Well,
his
one
ice
thing I
power.
can predict is Betty's presence in Oo means that the Ice King will eventually become cured and return to being Simon. Otherwise, they wouldn't have kept her there.
Or, well, they could do something really tragic with that.
What would that be?
Maybe she finds a way to give him succor and peace, and there is no cure, and maybe that's the moral.
Maybe that would be super dark.
Yeah, that would be. But it's weird because as an adult who likes media and has seen a lot of movies, I'm almost like, as I get older, I'm drawn more and more towards shocking, dark, severe endings to things. But at the same time, I'm almost pleasantly surprised when that doesn't happen.
That would be killing a major character. I don't know if they could get away with that. I mean,
But
that
at the
would be
same
pretty
time, they
compelling.
can't.
That's
use,
true.
They
I don't
can't
think-
use him for his original purpose anymore.
Being creepy and sad.
But creepy, sad, and hilariously stealing princesses is now just creepy and sad when
I think
it happens.
that's probably why they're giving him some time, because they can't do anything.
Yeah, but how do they
that.
bring him back without it being depressing? Anytime he steals a princess now, it's, oh, Ice King with Alzheimer's stole a princess because he's fucked up. How tragic.
Well, Betty's still out there. Maybe she'll come back because she's watching over him. Maybe she'll stop him from doing that shit.
Maybe they can somehow get him to where, like they can have their cake and eat it too. Like, oh, he knows he's Simon, but he's still a kooky Ice King, right? Like he gets his memory back and he's
Somewhere in
chill.
the middle.
Right, but he's still kooky and he's still, likes ninjas.
But then he takes the mad scientist role away from Peebs.
He's not a mad scientist.
That's what he would become if he had some memories.
And he believes in all the kind of stuff that she doesn't, so he would be on the
Like
opposite end of the
magics.
spectrum.
She believes in magic. She's just pissed off that it works.
She thinks magic is science, or she denies that magic is anything but science.
Yeah, which she's probably right about, but at the same time, her science isn't quite there yet.
No.
I love how dismissive Jake is of her time travel.
He was just like the viewer.
Yeah.
All right.
Of course, granted, that episode, we're talking about dark. That episode was fucked up.
Oh yeah.
LSP murdered that dude.
Yeah. Well, he got sent to another dimension. He might as well be dead.
Yeah, but when they first present that,
Oh, the
if
time
they
travel
didn't
one.
have that outside cool thing where you see that alternate world, then that episode is just she killed him by cutting him in half and then sent the rest of the body to join the dead half.
Yeah. That episode premiered just around the end of season 5, and we thought it was going to be like a little breath of fresh air between all the tragic stuff. It wasn't.
Yeah, but look at the last major LSP episode we had. It was similarly, the moral of
She's
that
trying
end,
to get in the wedding and she's hiding in the woods.
Yep. It was just, wow, she's fucked up. And then the episode before that was her and the pizza guy, and the moral was Finn and Jake being like, oh, it's just LSP's emotional bullshit.
You know what?
And then they leave.
That's something they could resolve if they wanted to. They could resolve Brad. They could be like, here's Brad.
Oh, who cares about Brad?
I care about Brad.
You want to?
He's probably so lumpy.
Yeah, that episode with LSP and Johnny, the guy who she not killed, that was actually storyboarded by Penn Ward himself.
Yeah.
Twisted fucker.
Well, doesn't he do the LSP voice, I think?
Yes, he does.
Yeah, so...
That
So
one
maybe he was-
ended with Princess Bubblegum drinking.
Yeah, it did. Princess Bubblegum also is increasingly not a happy person.
Yeah, she's gonna crack one day.
Yeah, because she's been a lot happier in older seasons. She still had issues, still working on stuff, but she was a lot more good-natured and easygoing, and now she seems to pretty much always be harried or angry.
They're evolving her character into something much more, I would say darker, but really much more neutral. Just a character who believes the ends justify the means.
Of course, at the same time, the show has done nothing but tell me that she is right.
I know. They make us question her morally because she does things that make us very uncomfortable as people, but it doesn't prove her wrong, ever.
Yep. Well, I mean, let's go all the way back. So James, ignoring James 2, where he found out that James is just fucked up in his own way. The way that episode played out, it's pretty obvious that she brought him along to be cannon fodder. So it wasn't just that he died and he was expendable, so she made the choice. She brought him to be expendable and then had to basically knock Finn out so she could expend him without him stopping her.
Well, that's her move, is that she's basically so much smarter than everybody.
And knows it.
Right? She knows it, but she can't possibly, like, even if she's talking to the banana guards, it's like, even if she's talking to Finn, she can't just say anything smart. Imagine being so smart and literally everyone is dumb. Like, imagine if you were the only
Remember when she's trying to
not
explain,
crazy conservative person on
she's trying
Earth.
to explain to Finn, or to Jake, why Flame Princess is dangerous?
Mm-hmm.
And
He
Jake's-
just stopped listening.
Right. So imagine how frustrating that is. Like, you were literally the only intelligent person there is.
So why doesn't she just go talk to Prismo?
I guess.
Well, I
but-
guess now she can't.
Well, that's why she hangs with Marceline, who's like the only thing even close to being smart because she's so old.
But Marceline's always kind of a bitch to her.
Yeah.
Oh, they're getting better.
They are.
Last time they hung out, it was really actually pretty friendly.
Yeah. I miss Marceline not being pissed off and sad and just causing trouble for people.
Well, yeah, they're evolving her character into more of a good guy instead of this chaotic neutral thing.
She was always chaotic neutral with good tendencies, even from the beginning. All of her pranks were funny and chaotic, but they weren't just chaotic neutral because she actually did prevent real harm from coming.
I think in the very first Marceline episode ever, right? At that point, I don't think she was meant to be this long recurring character,
Yeah,
right?
she killed Jake in her first appearance.
Right, in that very first episode.
Nah, she knew she wouldn't kill him.
She was one
I don't
kind of
think she did
character,
that.
and then when they decided to make her recurring, they switched it up, right? In that second appearance, they're like, oh, okay, she's just fooling around. She's not actually just a one-off bad guy monster of the week.
I miss episodes like when Finn needs help with his relationship stuff and she gives him the worst possible relationship advice in the world.
Yeah, that's because she was jealous.
Yeah.
Oh.
Of course, even in that episode, look at the way she reacted to Finn asking her to go. She's got a lot more issues than just her issues with Peeves and her issues with Simon.
She has 1,000 years of issues.
Yep. Daddy issues.
French fry issues.
Who knows how many exes she's had?
Yeah. Granted, the only one we've seen is the douchebag guy.
Oh, yeah, the band guy.
We haven't seen any of the other ones, but we've seen like Peeves was dating that one candy guy at one point.
Yeah, she probably made him. Just saying.
Yeah, almost definitely. Or it's possible that two other candy
Definitely.
people made him the natural way.
Oh.
That would be really...
That is a thing that happens, right? Like there's those candy orphans and shit.
Yeah, that is the thing that happens. He was there really early on, though. When she was still building stuff, I kind of get the feeling she thought, I should have a boyfriend. What should I do about that?
Yep. Or maybe she made a bunch of them, and then one of them was just kind of, and she just kind of put up with him. I get the impression that anyone she has dated over this whole time, she's just kind of put up with. Like they're kind of there.
Do you remember in Lemon Hope that guy who helped Lemon Hope out at Flannel
You mean-
Boxing
you mean
Day?
Princess
Yes, I mean
Bubblegum?
Princess Bubblegum in disguise.
Yep.
You remember when she was talking about romance?
Ah.
And he was like, it's been so long. And he starts dropping the paddle he was using.
I forgot all about that.
I cracked up so hard at that.
So is she thinking back to Marceline or
That's
someone
what I like
else?
to think, but
Yeah.
who knows?
All right, let's end with something lighter, right? So, what? I don't know, something lighter.
Something lighter.
Yeah.
Okay.
Scott, what do you like most about Choose Goose?
What do I like most about Choose Goose?
Yeah.
His neck.
I want to see some Scott X Choose Goose fan fiction.
Make
Guys,
it.
get on this.
Make it. I like his equipment. It's very.
You just like making that noise.
I like making that noise, and I like inventories. Hook me up with that +2 armors and that +5 swords.
For whatever reason, I really like Flame
Choose
Princess.
Goose will never give you the cursed shit.
I think Flame Princess is actually my favorite non-main character.
Yeah, she's your type.
Yeah, she kind of is. I don't know why.
All right, favorite princess.
Favorite princess?
Dr. Princess.
But she's not a princess. That's just her surname. That was explicitly stated.
Yeah, Scott, you got to think harder.
You've got to pick a princess.
We'll just say Scott's favorite is Princess.
Yeah.
Is there such a princess?
Yes. She's 3 princesses like mashed together. She's horrifying.
I don't remember that one at all. Well, I guess LSP isn't a princess either.
Nope.
Right? So...
Because princess means something in this world with a
Slime
capital
princess?
P. We know that because of the Enchiridion.
Slime
We know that a
princess?
little bit because of the video game, too.
Does video
Yeah.
game count?
I guess the
Kinda.
cutscenes count, but fuck the rest of that game.
Fuck that game.
All the games. There's
Yep.
more than one of them. They all
Those
suck.
games are the worst.
I gave up on it and just watched the rest of cutscenes on YouTube.
I can't believe you even bought it.
I was trying to be a good fan.
No.
Bought the first one.
No,
Serves me
don't
right.
reward them. That would be like if the creators of Cowboy Bebop came to America and just shat on their individual fans one by one.
Some
That's what that
people
was.
have to learn their own lessons, Rim. That's the path to adulthood.
All right.
Except if Finn was allowed to learn his own lessons, he would have died like 15 times.
All right. Well, we need your favorite princess also.
And it can't be Marceline. She's not a princess either.
My favorite princess is Peebs.
Really?
Yes. Sorry.
Oh. Okay.
She's
I
the
guess-
most interesting character on that show. What are you all groaning for?
I guess in Tenchi Muyo, you like Ayaka the most.
That is not even a remotely...
That's like having Sailor Moon be your favorite Sailor Scout.
No.
Who's your favorite Sailor Scout? It's Michiru, isn't it?
The
Who?
green one.
Oh,
Just because green.
No, I like Sailor Uranus.
Oh. Okay.
Because butt jokes.
Yes.
Yes, that is exactly why.
No, Princess Bubblegum is the most complex character on that show. You're not going to convince me of otherwise in this short conversation. And just because she appears more than any other princess doesn't mean that my decision is lazy.
No, I can see that. I like her a lot, but for whatever reason, I like Flame Princess more.
Yeah, whatever reason.
I really don't know why. Like, I couldn't really... I'd have to think about it a lot.
That's the second most lazy answer, by the way.
If I had to pick a non-lazy answer, I kind of like Slime Princess as well.
Yeah.
Because, one, she just seems pretty rational and funny.
And because Maria Bamford's doing her sexy voice for Slime Princess.
I also liked at the end of that episode the way they handled the not attraction between the two of them.
All right.
No love for Hot Dog Princess?
I like
Hot Dog
I like her
Princess- I
design.
like hot dogs. Like the theme of Hot Dog Princess is probably the best, but she's just sort of
Wildberry Princess
Airy.
with her stocks of murdered meat.
yeah, no.
I love how she just
Maybe-
is really into meat and
Maybe
slaughtering
the
and-
library turtle princess is acceptable.
Turtle Princess, really? Hey girl, hey girl, hey girl. That was my ringtone for a while,
That's not a bad ringtone.
but now I've changed it to "Don't Lose Your Way."
That's a good ringtone too.
I might never change it again, because then I'll lose my
I
way.
should change mine to Yuwashak.
It's also my alarm in the morning.
Great.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, I have two. I have one that's just "Don't Lose Your Way."
I'm
like
still
it starts,
using the Tribes 2 song. For
it
my
starts
alarm.
right up with the "Don't Lose Your Way." That's the ringtone. The alarm one plays the song slowly fading in, fading in, fading in, fading in, and then "Don't Lose." So I have time to stop it.
Wow, I would fly out of bed and right into the dresser.
Yeah,
Every
I thought
morning.
I would do that. You know what happens? I listen to the song for a while, I turn it off, I fall back asleep, I wake up a half hour later, I'm late to work.
Oh, you suck.
I can't get out of bed. Is there a sleepy princess? I guess that would be the Pillow Princess, but that's alternate universe, so it doesn't
That's
count.
Prismo.
Rest in peace.
Oh, Prismo. Is it just me or was the Lich creepy as fuck in that episode?
He's always creepy as fuck, but
He's a
yeah.
lich.
He was extra creepy in that episode.
Well, I think ever since he donned the skin of
Yeah.
it's been more creepy.
He was
Billy.
creeping out Death.
I love that scene where Death is like, yeah. Also, Death
Couldn't
might
Death
be,
just kill him because he's Death?
Death's powers seem to be surprisingly limited.
And what's Death like? Is the dimension that Death lives in the same place where Marceline's dad
God,
lives?
no.
No.
No. Okay.
That's pretty well established, I think. Marceline's dimension, well, Marceline's dad's dimension, is the Nightosphere, is pretty much sequestered off from everywhere.
So the Nightosphere is not the same as Hell.
No.
Okay.
But it's kind of like hell, but I don't
there's
know if
two
that's where dead
hells.
people go. I
it's
don't
its
think
own
so.
thing.
But we haven't seen any heavens. We've just seen two hells.
Bad places to go.
I guess your options are get sent to a hell or get reincarnated as basically the same person. This has been Geek Nights with Rim and Scott. Special thanks to DJ Pretzel for the opening music, Kat Lee for web design, and Brando K for the logos.
Be sure to visit our website at frontrowcrew.com for show notes, discussion, news, and more.
Remember, Geek Nights is not one, but 4 different shows. Sci-Tech Mondays, Gaming Tuesdays, Anime Comic Wednesdays, and Indiscriminate Thursdays.
Geek Nights is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution 3.0 license. Geek Nights is recorded live with no studio and no audience. But unlike those other late shows, it's actually recorded at night.